Hi, I'm Larry McAtee, Ward 3 City Councilman, and what a privilege and what an honor and a delight it is today to have the Oklahoma City Patrolman of the Year or Officer of the Year with us today, and it's Mohammad Tabiai. Mohammad, thank you so much for taking time to be with us. How about giving our audience a little bit of a background on how you got from where you were born to here in Oklahoma City?
Well, first of all, thank you, Councilman McAtee, for having me. It is an honor for me to be selected as Officer of the Year. There's great officers among the city of Oklahoma City Police Department officers, so I just feel honored that I was selected one of them. But there's many deserving officers out there. I'm originally born in Morocco. I was raised and born there, and I moved when I was 18. I finished high school. I decided that I would like to study abroad. One of the countries that caught my attention, of course, the United States. So I had some friends that attended the University of Central Oklahoma. So they informed me that Oklahoma was not a bad state to come and attend college. I had no knowledge of the existence of the state of Oklahoma before, so I took a leap of faith. I got a one-way plane ticket, enrolled in the University of Central
That's
Oklahoma.
a leap of faith right there.
Yes, yes, and 14 years later, I'm here. So.
And when you went to a UCO, your major was?
I began majoring in communication and broadcasting. Then I eventually switched to political science. Then I had a lot of political aspirations. Fortunately, didn't get to realize them, but I'm in a better position now. So.
Now, how did you go from these political aspirations and UCO, how did you get involved in law enforcement?
I graduated from UCO in 2007. It started to pique my interest of which way I can serve the community, the state, and the city that adopted me as a son, and give back to the United States. As took me in as one of its own with open arms. So I began contemplating between serving in the armed forces or serving in law enforcement. Unfortunately, at that time, there was a hire freeze in the city of Oklahoma City. So I took a professional job in insurance for 4.5 years, pending, the beginning of hiring process. And thankfully, in 2012, I was selected and honored to be part of Oklahoma City Police Force.
Now you're a part of the Oklahoma City Police Force. Where do you operate out of? And how about a little bit about how you go about doing your job?
I am a patrol officer assigned to the Southwest Division. It basically covers the southwest part of the city. I am specifically assigned to what's considered a Sector 3. I work in the area between Reno and Southwest 29th and South Penn and South Portland Avenue. That's my assigned district. I patrol that area every day, or whether it's on foot or in the car. I try to stay visible as much as possible. I get out on foot and talk to a lot of citizens, a lot of elderly folks. I check on them. And I just try to be as proactive as possible to make sure that police presence is felt so we can keep the crime as minimum as possible.
So you get involved, from your philosophy, then in proactive policing.
Yeah, absolutely. My main duty is to respond to calls for service. But when we have time, I consider it not a downtime. I consider it an opportunity to become proactive and start looking for any way I can help, whether it's looking for bulletins with wanted subjects or looking at the list of warrants in my area, or just working high areas known for high crime rates, such as whether it's drug houses or problem houses or anything like that. So I try to work them as much as possible, as much as I can.
Well, I hear some words coming out of your mouth which really resonate with me. I hear the word help. I hear the word service. I hear the word interact with the people. Something had to occur that got you selected as Officer of the Year. What do you think that was and what led up to that selection?
I've had an instance where one day I came to work, and before I begin my shift, I check my bulletins and our websites. Usually it's detectives in our investigation bureau. They post them for wanted subjects, and they need help locating certain subjects. So I looked at a bulletin for two subjects that are wanted for crimes against children. It's sex crimes or sex abuse against children. And when I opened the bulletin up, the male subject was really familiar to me as I dealt with him for last year. I've made several contacts with him. I had built a rapport with him. So I went out, I read the report and found exactly what took place. And I really just determined that he had to be located and placed where he needs to be, which is in custody, him and his ex-wife at the time. So I began investigating, going from one address to another that I knew he would be at. I finally located him at his grandmother's house. And she was helpful in taking him in custody. It was without incident. It was very peaceful, and he was really cooperative in trying to attempt to locate his ex-wife, as she was transient and she didn't have a fixed location. So we began the process again from going to from one house to another, speaking to a lot of folks and family and friends, and it finally paid off. Later on that day, I received a call that a possible location for her. I went to that location and I was able to apprehend her without incident as well and place her in jail.
Now, the fact that there were children involved in all this, you have some added motivation because you have a couple of children of your own, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. I am a father of one. I have a little girl. She's a year and a half, and I'm expecting another girl. So it's an added motivation, as you said, and to someone who would pray at the most innocent in our society. You know, it's just something that I couldn't pass to just let it be. So I just had to act and do something, and I just was fortunate enough to make a difference. So.
Now, being an officer and having responsibilities out in the field and being a family man, that must give you some challenges. How do you balance all that?
Well, I couldn't do this job without my lovely wife of 10 years. She's
Good commercial. Way to go.
she's the backbone of our family. She's my rock. She's my shoulder that I lean on a lot. So she's there to help me out, and she carries a lot of burden on our family when I'm working, especially with my schedules being 8 days on and 6 days off. It's really challenging because most of the time she's at home caring for our child. So, but in the same time, I took a lot of advice from a lot of senior officers from our training staff when they said you have to find a way to separate yourself from the job. So when you go home, it's not per se turn off the switch, but just kind of set your mindset where you care for your family, put everything behind you. Although as a police officer, you're never off, but you just, or off duty, but you just try to strike a delicate balance between work and life.
Strike a delicate balance. Let me ask you this. Since coming on the force, have you noticed any change in the atmosphere or the climate or the interaction between the public and the police?
Absolutely. When I joined in 2012, the atmosphere of policing was a little bit different than now after Ferguson, the incident in Ferguson, and other high-profile shootings in the country. But I don't think it has changed a lot for us in Oklahoma City, just because we are really thankful for the citizens of Oklahoma City that have been very supportive of us. I see a lot of support since that, verbal support and show of support from citizens day in and day out, whether it's on calls and service or whether I'm just sitting eating dinner and I have people come and shake my hand and thank me for my service, which it means a lot. It means a lot that our citizens are behind us and support us 100%. And we're out here to serve them as well and do the best we can for them.
So as a citizen who's out and around, what should I be doing? I should be going up and shaking the officers' hands, expressing my gratitude, telling them we're behind them?
Absolutely. It means a lot. It means a lot to talk to an officer and just let them know that you support them, and that it means a lot to that officer to hear it from the citizens, because we see in a lot of cities and examples around the country that the trust is eroding. But however, we're fortunate in the city of Oklahoma City that we still have this citizens' trust, and we strive to keep that trust between us and the citizens. So just a statement of thank you, a gesture of thank you goes a long ways.
A thank you goes a long way. You were in your 20s when you decided to adopt the career of law enforcement. What would you say to a young man or a young woman out there who was in their 20s, didn't really have a direction yet, and maybe had a small inkling that maybe law enforcement would be the way to go? What would you say to that person?
I would say I would commend them for thinking about law enforcement and it's a great challenge, but it's a huge responsibility. I mean, the police officer is held to one of the highest standards. Police officer is a trusted person, and being a police officer comes with a lot of responsibilities. So it's not a decision that should be taken lightly, but also it's a decision that if you are committed and you are willing to do the work, it's a very rewarding career.
A very rewarding career. If you had to pick the essence of what makes it such a rewarding career, what would that be?
Just the small interactions with the public and the citizens, and just see that you make a difference in someone's life, no matter how small it is. It could be a change in a tire, could be pushing someone out of high water or flood waters, or it could be giving someone a ride because it's cold outside, to doing something that is very noble in the community. It's a very rewarding career because you could see the fruit of your work right then and there.
See the fruit of your work right there. I guess you'd say that we're blessed to live in Oklahoma City.
Absolutely.
With the police officers like yourself, Mohammad. Boy, that's fantastic, your story. And then the climate that we've got between the officers and the public. And you used an interesting word when you're talking about that, trust, that mutual trust. Do you spend a lot of time while you're on duty with other officers talking about that, or does that just come natural to you?
Well, it comes natural to me, but we also discuss it a lot. We talk about how if we are honest and we are trustworthy and we work hard for the people and we gain their trust, our citizens will be behind us 100%. And that's what we have in Oklahoma City, fortunately, unlike other cities like Chicago and other cities. So it's something that we really conscientious about. We're something that we work really hard to not only gain the trust, but keep the trust of the public.
To gain the trust and keep the trust. Folks, I think you can see why Mohammad was selected as Officer of the Year. A very honor that I know you're going to carry and embellish as you go on. Thank you for what you do, for what all your fellow officers do to give us a peaceful and restful and blessed community. Folks, when you see a patrolman out there, tell them thank you. They're out to gain your trust. They're out to meet your needs, to keep you safe. May God bless you, and may God bless our police force as they continue to serve. Mohammad, thanks for coming down, sir.
Thank you, Councilman. I appreciate it. Thank you.